Fields, and I'm the CEO here at Leamington District Memorial Hospital. This is the second of a series of community forums that we will be performing with regards to the clinical services changes here at the hospital. So Leamington District Memorial Hospital basically serves the community along Essex County South Shore. So the patient profile, the people who actually come and see us, come from different townships. Leamington, Kingsville, Essex, Harrow, and Colchester, which is part of Essex, Chatham, Kent, and Lakeshore. In the last couple of years, you've seen this community being marketed as a retirement place to reside. The county, Essex County, and the communities that we serve are seeing a dramatic shift in the profile of the population. Overall, we expect the population to stay flat. However, we expect a material change in the set of people who are over the age of 65. So today we have about 15% over the age of 65, and by 2020, which is 5 years, less than 5 years anyway, we're going to have 20%. That's an increase of 33%, and the population is not growing. The population is shifting. The core of this hospital is our emergency department. We see approximately 29,000 to 30,000 patients every year. If you're going to have an emergency department, you have to have the services that go along with it. That's internal medicine and acute care beds. That's a full suite of diagnostic services, and we will be, I'm just throwing my voice there, I can get really high. So that's a full suite of diagnostic services. We will be expanding ultrasound very shortly. General surgery underneath the guidance of Dr. Guman. And we have partnerships with Windsor Regional Hospital on the delivery of dialysis. And we have partnerships for mental health and addiction. Again, 85% of the residents from Leamington and Kingsville depend on our emergency department. I thank you for your loyalty and your trust in us. We want you to continue to come here. This is your hospital. We are number one in the Erie St. Clair Limb with regards to wait times. As we look forward, you can see us now, 2014, we see about 29,000 patients. In the next 5 years, this is projected to grow over 30,000 patients. The engine for this hospital is the emergency department. Surgery, general surgery here under the guidance of Dr. Guman and Dr. Tracy. We perform about 4,500 procedures, which is up compared to last year. We have a significant increase in orthopedic surgery. As we get older, we're going to need these type of services moving forward. With a 140% increase year over year, and we're going to keep expanding these services to meet the needs of our catchment area. So being a small rural hospital, you have to depend on partnerships. It's our responsibility to build those partnerships. The board of directors of Leamington District Memorial Hospital believe we have a key role to play in enabling people to discharge their responsibilities. What I mean by that, when you see different agencies and they call themselves, whatever the name may be, Windsor Essex, right? Windsor Essex. The Essex part, in our opinion, sometimes falls a little short. Okay, so I'll expand on that momentarily. We have a long-standing relationship with Windsor Regional Hospital. That includes the dialysis unit out front, which has been open approximately 2 years. That includes diagnostic services. Rose Costa is a leader here at Leamington District Memorial Hospital. It also includes mental health and addictions for our emergency department and inpatient. Mental health and addictions. We did a study last year, Community Hope Project. If you go to our website, you will see it there. What that did was identify gaps to the communities that we serve. So over the last year, we have been working with different agencies, trying to attract them to come here. So we're very pleased to tell you we have 18 site partners, 22 programs, and more are on the way. Again, this is what our fundamental belief is. We have to help others discharge their responsibilities to the communities that we serve. Now the big change here, and I think everyone knows about it, is the obstetrical and gynecology program here at the hospital. So the partnership formed will be between Leamington and Windsor Regional Hospital. Dr. Chan will receive privileges at Windsor Regional to do her births. She will maintain her gynae services here, including surgery, at the hospital. And LDMH will develop pre- and postnatal care with Windsor Regional Hospital in partnership. This is truly unique. I think it's the first time it's been done in Ontario, to make sure that some type of service stays here in this community. So what do you tell us? Because that's what we're concerned with. We look at these satisfaction scores every single month. So over the last year, how well did the ED staff do? Almost 16% increase with respect to that at 93, 94%. The courtesy of the ED staff, 93%, nearly a 10% increase. Courtesy of the physician, a 5% increase to 96%. This really speaks to the quality of the individuals running those departments. On the inpatient side, I just got the scores today, on the inpatient side, overall satisfaction, patient satisfaction was 100%. So to Lori-Ann Granger and her staff, I say thank you. So patient satisfaction, we are now social media. Zane Ismail here. When I say we, I mean Zane. Okay, Zane Ismail is the one that does this for us. He checks this all the time, and I work with him. Anytime there's a comment, we try to make sure we share that positive comment with the staff and the physicians. Anytime there's a negative comment, to me that's much more important to me. Right? Because I want to find out what the cause of the problem is and what we can do to rectify that problem. We go over all those types of complaints or compliments that you send us. So now there are multiple ways to get a hold of us. And I believe on your card, on the table, there are business cards with respect to how to access these services. If you ever come here and have a patient experience that you're not satisfied with, I encourage you to talk to the department manager. If you're not satisfied with the answer you receive, I encourage you to contact me. Okay, that's it. We want to talk about the hospital and what we're going to look like going forward and the services that we provide. The emergency department at this hospital, under Catherine's leadership, has done a tremendous job. Right? Are we perfect? No, no hospital is perfect. We are in a people service business, right? And you're only as good as your last encounter. But we do take steps to make sure we correct anything that we can. Okay? So we're doing these forums so people understand where we're going. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Yes, ma'am.
I commend you for having this meeting and talking with us. I'm upset that I hear that OB is closing. I'm very upset that OB is closing. First of all, when I started working here, we had 175 beds. Now we're what, barely 60? I walked around the hospital before I came into this room. It's all offices. We need frontline workers, and we need beds. And this is a growing community, and if you want business to come here and young people to stay here, you need OB. It's an hour away to go to Windsor. It's an hour away to go to Chatham. I had 3 children here. 2 of them were delivered in 5 minutes. I came here and said, oh, you won't be delivering for the next 4 or 5 hours. Next thing you know, out pops the baby. Okay. The emergency department is already overwhelmed. How can you possibly deliver emergency deliveries? Now, to me, this is all political, because down the road there's supposed to be some mega hospital being built in Windsor, and Chatham is going for one too. Now, the board ought to be ashamed of themselves for closing OB and voting on it, because once they do that, the lid is just going to follow it, right? And the heads of department, when you walk around here, I don't know who's a nurse, who's head of department, who's what. Why do not head of departments dress up like nurses? Why are they coming here in suits? I want to know who I'm dealing with when I come to this hospital.
Okay, so you touched on a few subjects there, so I will address each one of them. I can guarantee you, our board of directors, and some of them are sitting here today, I guarantee you, the board of directors and myself, this was a very difficult decision, a decision we did not want to make. Okay? There are financial constraints that we are dealing with, and we have to act with fiduciary responsibility. We have to make sure this hospital, which has been here for 70 years, will be here for another 70 years going forward. We are now going to be moving from a 69-bed hospital to a 62-bed hospital. With respect to the LHIN, the decision they're going to make, I can't comment on that because I don't have any authority to do so.
You just
It's
gave
up to
them the
them.
ammunition.
Ma'am,
You gave them the ammunition.
we had to make a
You
financial.
loaded the gun for them.
We had to make a financial decision because we don't
How
have.
much money?
We don't have a choice.
How much money did OB lose?
OB loses approximately $700,000 a year.
And you mean you cannot get any other monies to come in?
No, we
to do
can't.
that? Why not?
Because we've been going down this path for a number of years now,
And you
looking
know
for
why?
incremental funding.
And you know why? We've had 2 horrible obstetricians. You get 2 good ones. I've been here for several years. You have to give them a chance. Anybody that runs a business knows that.
That's correct.
I run a business. You
Run a
run
business.
a deficit in the beginning, right?
This is not.
You've
This is.
got people coming back here to deliver. They used to go to Windsor because they didn't like the 2 obstetricians that were here before.
I agree.
Now they're starting to come back. You renovated OB, and now you're going to close it.
And why? The answer is, the question is why. Right? The question is why.
Unbelievable.
Because of a lack of funds. No one from the board of directors or myself want to make this decision.
You mean the other hospitals don't run in lack of funds? I know London Hospital runs with a deficit.
Windsor Regional had a $5 million surplus last year. Okay? Last couple of years here, we've been balanced. But as we go forward, and health system funding reform changes the mechanisms about how hospitals are funded, we can no longer afford to keep obstetrics open. It's not a choice that we want to make.
Yes, it is a choice.
How do I fund it?
You get money from the
From who?
from the public.
So I'm
You
going to
just
ask each of
refa-
you.
you just refaced the whole
Why don't you
hospital. How
get
much did that cost
more
you?
babies delivered here? Have you tried that?
Of course we have. We've been marketing OB for a number of years here. Well, I would argue that we've been marketing it very well. Our numbers this year were trending about 33%
That's a
up
good point.
from the prior year.
How well you
Okay?
marketed.
We've been doing
Okay,
community
so the
forums.
numbers are up, but you're shutting it down.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Okay, so let's talk about that a bit. Let's talk a little bit about that. Okay? What we don't have is a long enough runway, okay, to turn OB around or to achieve the numbers. I showed you the demographic profile. Okay? In this area, the number of births are expected to go down. The people, the profile of the demographics, are expected to get older. No one wants to make this decision. We are tasked with fiduciary responsibility. We agree 100% what you're saying. Every single one of us here agree with what you've been saying. Okay? Coming here and telling me this, that you're already speaking to the converter. Have a conversation. Call Gary Switzer. Have a conversation with him. This is happening due to the lack of funds.
I actually spoke to Gary Switzer, and he said $700,000 is really not much at all considering this big cost for a pretty big hospital. He said that
What's
that should be
$700,000?
easily made up for in other areas.
Pardon me?
He said that should be easily made up for in other areas. He said $700,000, considering this is a hospital, is really nothing at all. So
There's a more than so thank you. I have my CFO here. Okay? OB's been an issue in this hospital for 10 years.
So why has it taken this long? Like, why are we just finding out about this now? Why wasn't the community lobbied?
Well, we have been having conversations with the community.
Funny, because I just found out about this meeting today, and I found out about the closure last week via radio. I had my daughter here last year, and plan on having a potential future baby here. Dr. Campo came from, Hamilton, very high-risk hospital, well-regarded doctor. She delivered my daughter because Dr. Chan wasn't on call that night. She was
Yeah, Dr.
recruited
Shannon,
here. I'm
Dr.
sorry,
Shannon,
but I'm not
Dr.
finished.
Campo.
She was
Oh, wait,
recruited
hang on.
here.
Hey, wait, people can't hear you. Hang on.
Oh, they can hear it because I got a pretty loud voice.
Well, you make it loud.
She was recruited here, and now we're going to let an asset to the Leamington community and surrounding area go?
That's correct.
Why?
So Dr. Campo made a life decision and she resigned effective November 30th.
Probably based on your decision to close the department.
Absolutely.
I don't know the facts of that.
Of course.
That's everybody's choice to make.
Is there any way that family doctors, maybe to try to help, is there any way that family doctors can refer them to the Leamington doctors rather than the Windsor doctors, and then we can keep the funding here. I feel like they're referring them more to Windsor than they are to Leamington. Like we need to keep it local.
So that's a great point. So it takes a while to have that shift go on. So when we were marketing OB, we were also talking to the family doctors with regards to referrals to Dr. Chan and to Dr. Campo. But if you were a mother or already had a child, and you went and saw an OBGYN in Windsor, most likely you're going to continue with that path.
You can't compare the
So it
care.
takes a long time to get there.
The care here is spectacular compared to Windsor.
So I want to talk a little bit about the study. So when the people came in from Hay, they are a leading consulting company here for healthcare in Ontario, actually throughout Canada. They came here, I think, with a predisposition about obstetrics in a small community hospital. At the end of the study, they came back and said, the care here is phenomenal. Phenomenal. The job that Dr. Chan, Dr. Campo, Dr. Sapka, underneath the guidance of Dr. Guman, was fantastic, and there are no clinical issues. None whatsoever. This is truly a financial decision that we have to make. That's it. And
Poor decision.
if we had incremental funding, we'd be the first to keep it open.
You know what? This hospital has not been run well for a long time. You had Mr. Sheeler, who embezzled money, and the board had to pay him $250,000 to get rid of him. You had the money then. You had Mr. Egan, who was CEO then. He embezzled money. They had to pay him $275,000 to get rid of him. So you have over $500,000 to get rid of bad CEOs, and we don't have $700,000 to keep OB open. Come on. The community doesn't know a lot of things around here.
And I feel free. You feel free to talk about anything you wish to talk about. It's $700,000, if not more, every single year. What happened in the past, I can't comment on. The people's names that you mentioned, I'm not even aware of.
Well, the community should know that. It was kept hush-hush. And this board here should all resign, as far as I'm concerned, because they made a horrible decision.
Well, I will share that. This is being recorded, and we will share that with the board members. Ma'am, it's not a decision they want to make. If we had, where do I get the money to pay for it?
You get it from other departments. Get rid of a few management people.
I already
There's
have.
too many management people
Stop.
in this hospital.
Stop.
Way too
So
many.
since I've taken over at this hospital, every time a vacancy came up in management positions, I did not replace it.
Good for you then.
I took those resources and I pushed them to the front line because philosophically, regardless where I've been, it's what I've always done.
Well, then I commend you.
Okay? It's not enough. With salaries increasing and funding going the other way, we're stuck in a really bad spot. This board has struggled and struggled mightily with regards to this decision. They are quality individuals that represent this community and they do it well. The amount of time they spend on behalf of this hospital is amazing. We've been arguing with the LIN and arguing with the ministry on this for 2 years. We knew this was coming and we had numerous meetings with respect to this. We're not pleased about this decision. Everyone is taking it really, really hard. Decision we don't want to make, but we are charged with making a fiduciary decision.
What about money that's being donated to the hospital? I know I donate money to the hospital.
Yeah, that's the
Why is it
foundation.
going to OB? Where's it going?
The foundation pays for capital for this hospital, and they give us over $1 million a year.
$700,000 is not a lot of money.
So they can't allocate it to a different department in the hospital?
We need that capital for our equipment here in the hospital. On average, we spend over $1 million. Dialysis unit up front, over $3 million. The women's center downstairs, $1.5 million. Okay? So the foundation has done a good job raising those funds to support the local hospital here. When it comes to operating dollars, they just don't have enough bandwidth to take everything on.
What is the budget for OB?
OB budget is for $1.4 million.
That's not a lot of money.
It's a lot of money when you don't have money. So one person said to me, let me share this one comment to you. But one person said to me recently when we were having this dialogue was, it's not always about money. Okay? One person said that to me. It's not always about money. And I said, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not always about money when you have money. When you don't have money, it's about money. We have no desire to close OB here. If you think I want to close OB, you are dead wrong. If you think our board of directors want to do it, you are dead wrong. Okay? We are forced to make a decision due to financial constraints. If we receive the money, we would keep it open.
Who's forcing you?
How do I pay for it?
You take it from another department.
I don't have any more departments to take it from.
Oh, wow.
This hospital, wait. In 2009, this same topic was on the table. Okay, the hospital decided to close 15 acute care beds to keep OB open. 15 acute care beds to keep OB open. Okay? There's no more acute care beds to cut to keep OB open.
You mentioned earlier that we went from You mentioned earlier that we went from a 69-bed hospital to a 62-bed hospital. That's not taking into account the 10 AR beds that we're losing the end of November.
So there lies another problem. So a Sesame Store in this hospital, it's a one-time funding program that we had. The consultants here do a lot of work. The Hay Group came in here and do a lot of work for the province with regards to restorative services and a Sesame Store. So they were actually writing a provincial report. The provincial report will say the Sesame Store program here at Leamington District Memorial Hospital was absolutely the best in the province. Bar none, number one. Unfortunately for you, there's no more money to keep it going. The net impact is that the 10 Sesame Store beds will end on December 1st. Okay, the CCC beds will be expanded from 5 to 10, so we can offer a comparable type service in those beds. So it won't be the same. It's all finances, folks.
So is the issue really that provincial government ultimately wants to shut this hospital down and build a medical hospital? Is this the first step?
Yes.
I don't.
Hospital's going to be gone next year. Or 2 years down the road, you're going to have another budget deficit. You're not going to close something else, and you're just going to continue to close it without putting up a fight.
Okay, so I'll start with your last comment, putting up a fight. I guarantee you, there's been a fight. There's been a huge fight. We've been fighting since I've been here, we've been fighting. Okay? We called it political favors. We met directly with the ministry. We met numerous meetings with the LIN. We've been fighting for a long time. It's not because of effort. I can guarantee you the board members here who are not paid, the amount of time they spend on this hospital, going to Toronto for meetings to keep programs and services open, I commend you for your commitment and your loyalty here. Okay? What happens in the future? I know probably as much as you do with regards to how funding is going to go.
I have a question. You said that you've been going back and forth. You said that you've been going back and forth with the LIN. Is this decision already really made and we're just wasting our time here? And the second part of my question is, you said to talk to Gary Switzer. I spoke to him, and he said that $700,000 in a decent hospital like this isn't a lot of money. So you said that you can't take it from anywhere else. Then why did he tell me that it should be an easy?
I would ask you to answer that question.
Because I just spoke.
Mr. Switzer will be here today at 5 o'clock. If we had the money, this is the last thing we would do. I guarantee you this is the last thing we would do. We have absolutely zero desire to do this.
You're
So
just
is the
telling our
decision already made that the
I'm
hospital
wrong.
is closing? Or, because you said you've been going back and forth with the LIN, so why are we
I'm sorry, I
here?
can't hear you.
Why are we here if you said you've been going back?
So we have a responsibility to tell the community about programs and services going forward. This is a second community forum, and we'll hold them going into the future. Okay? So I encourage you, please, call Gary Switzer at the Erie St. Clair LIN. Okay? Talking to us in the board is a decision we don't want to make.
You know what? This is an embarrassment. Waste of time.
Another question, if you're saying that the numbers are trending upwards and have been since the new doctors have come to town, but we just don't have a long enough runway. Can we get creative and try and figure out how to extend that runway? Are there options?
Sure, that comes with dollars. If we had the dollars, we wouldn't be making this decision at all. We would not be making this decision.
It just seems that, we've got such a great program. The numbers are trending upwards to support it, but somehow we can't close the small gap that we need to close to get there. I don't know how dealing with the provincial government is to get funding and